Good morning, everybody. Okay, so today I'm starting a little bit earlier for those in the UK. I know that I haven't done an earlier video in a while, so I thought I'd do one this morning. So over here you can see I have a Prismacolor pack of color erase. So these are erasable pencils, and each one has their own little eraser on here. So I'm just using one pencil, the terracotta pencil, to do the outline. So you don't have to use these. You can use your polychromos pencils, or if you want something that you can easily remove, then you can use this pencil, or you can use a pastel pencil if you want to. So it's up to you. But if you're going to use a polychromos pencil, make sure that you do not use a lot of pressure at all. You want to use a light pencil with a very light hand. So I'd say if you're going to do an outline in these, maybe use the light yellow ochre number 183 if you're going to use a polychromos pencil for the outline. So today's video we're just doing the outline, and we are not transferring it. We're going to use, I don't know if I can really call it a freehand method, but we're going to use, I guess, vector lines. I think someone called it vector lines before. So we're going to find certain points that we think are important, and then we're going to use our ruler to help us pinpoint those exact places, and then we're sort of going to excuse me, we're sort of going to connect the dots kind of thing, or use the vector line shapes that we created to sort of as a grid almost to put those details in there. I think you know what I mean. Okay. I haven't spoken yet this morning, so my voice is like cracky. Crackling. Yeah, I'm usually only waking up about a half an hour to an hour from now. That's how it's been. But now, because of daylight saving, so you guys are an hour later, which means it's an hour earlier for me. So I don't want it to be extremely late for those in the UK and pretty late for those in the US. So I'm going to have to start doing my videos a bit earlier again. Yeah, Tracy, I don't understand. 4 AM? Far out. It's Western Australia. Well, if I was still in Perth, then I would not be streaming at this time, that's for sure. Okay. So we've got our prints over here. Let's just go through some materials quick first. So I've got my print, and this is the size that I'm going to be drawing it. The size of this is 10.5 inches by 8 inches. So 8 by 10.5 inches, or in centimeters, it is 24 centimeters by 26.5 centimeters. So that's the size, so it's pretty big. The paper I'm using is the Faber-Castell Artistico hot press watercolor paper, so this paper, except I'm just using a bigger sheet. So this is A4, I'm using A3, which is a bit bigger, so double the size. Just so that I have extra space on the border, and if I want to test something, then I can. So I bet you I'm going to have to stop probably in a couple of minutes, because Vinny will be coming home from his night shift, so I'm just going to say hello and then I'll continue going. So that could be any time from now he'll be coming home, so just keep that in mind. Okay. So I've discussed the pencil that you want to use for the outline. So let's just jump straight into the outline. We're not going to worry about the other materials yet until we get there. So I want to move, I think. I just want to move this piece of tape a little bit closer here. So I am working from this angle here. but you guys can work from whatever angle you want. And then I'm going to, just to make it just that extra bit easier, I'm going to cut this out completely, cut the border out. And then I want to, so I want this to fit exactly. So another piece of tape for the top. Sorry, that was probably very noisy. Cool. Let me sharpen this. Vic says I would not have straight cutting lines. I don't either. I just realized I cut that pretty skew over there. But that doesn't matter so much. Okay, so a couple of important points that we want to get right. So there seems to be a triangle just here. Do you see that? That shape there? Now that is a very important triangle that we want to get. And then there's this other triangle over here, the snout. So we want to get that. And then it's pretty much all triangles. And the ear. Okay, Vinny's home. So I'll be right back. I'm just going to say hello and then I'll be back, okay? Sorry about that. Okay, now I'm all yours and I can get started without stopping, hopefully, until the outline is completely done. Thanks, guys. Yes. Poor Vinny, he just did a 12-hour shift. So I feel like I don't get to see him with all these heavy shifts. So I have to say hello. And I have a nice banana coffee smoothie. Okay, so this triangle over here is a very, very important one. That's where I want that. So I want a line over here. So the reason I have my masking tape so close is because I'd rather have my extra lines on the masking tape than have too many lines on, you know, the paper. I'd like to keep the border nice and clean. So I'm putting that line over the top of the drawing, which is very, very subtle. Oh, I should be recording. So I am going to, if that's alright with you guys, once we finish this live demonstration, I'm going to put it up publicly on my YouTube channel, because I've had a lot of questions, I think that you guys would have noticed in a lot of the other streams, on how to do the outlines without transferring them, so this sort of method. So I'd like to just put this video out there so that they can see that. And then have this one and ready as a sort of quick link in every description of my following videos, so that they can get back to this one and see how I do the outlines. And I won't get questioned about that anymore. Okay, so that's that line. Because there's a lot of people that would just prefer to not transfer their outlines because they don't feel comfortable with it. Although I don't see why you shouldn't feel comfortable with it. But at least this is another simple way. Still easier than literally freehanding it. But like I said, if there's a very obvious shape here. So if you can get this triangle right over here. The rest is pretty easy. So you could freehand this outline on your own. Just straight onto the paper. Actually, maybe we'll do that on another piece of paper just to show you how else you would pay attention or observe your reference. And then we'll get to the more accurate vector line sort of way of doing things. Okay. So here we've got this triangle, and let's see if I can zoom out in a way that you can see all of it. So now you guys will be able to see what an angle I'm at. Can you guys see enough of that? Okay, so if you wanted to completely freehand this, so no ruler lines or anything like that, you want to find your shapes. So what you could do, like, that's pretty cool. You could literally use your hand. If you actually put it down properly. It's just a bonus that is just the right size. Okay. So that's the ear. The eye is literally by the tips of my fingers. So use your hand. Your hand is a good, very good tool. This goes at an angle. This part of the ear goes straight down. And then you've got this line here that sort of goes towards this section here. You've got this curvy bit here by the eye. This jawline over here is another curve of the hand. How can we put that curve? But it's going straight towards this part of this bottom line here. So if I put this part of my palm on this part of the ear, so here, then I can sort of get that line, just as an idea. So I can see that's too much of an angle, so that needs to be more like that. Yes, that's better. And then that's going towards this bottom section of the ear, which is exactly right. So sort of there. It also goes to the tips of my fingers. Now your hand's probably a different size to mine, so you probably wouldn't do it quite like that, but I'm just showing you how you can use something as simple as your hand as a guide. Something else you could do is you could use your pencil and find like the length of your pencil. Actually, let's do that now for the length of the mouth. So I'm very far off there actually. It needs to be all the way up here. And you'll be making adjustments a bit before you get to the point where you are comfortable with what you've got. Now this ear, there's a line right here, just sort of straight up like that. Okay, where's my eraser? So, because I can easily erase this pencil, I'm just going to use my tumbler eraser, take away those lines I don't want. Now I'm just getting that orange shape there, so this shape next to the white. And then the white bit, that white bit there. Okay, now we can define this ear a bit more. So when you're looking at your reference this much, it definitely makes it so much easier if it's like right here. So me being able to see it right here, I get a better understanding of the angle because I'm looking at it at the right angle. I also get a better understanding of the size of certain shapes. Hey Sam! Hello, sorry I haven't even been looking at any messages. Majine's planting a tree. Good work. Okay. So you guys are struggling to see. I will make it, I guess I'll make it darker. See, because I want you to see this as well. If I zoom into that, if I zoom into the fox here, you'd see the outline much better. Can you see that? So I might, I don't know. I can make the outline darker after. Or I feel bad that we've gotten this far. Let me make the outline dark now. Beautiful. So this, I still have the price on this box. It says $33.75. That would be Australian dollars. So they're not too expensive. So they'd be worth it. Okay. So I'm going to darken the outline for you. So I'm just going to go over what I just did. That should hopefully be a lot clearer now. And then I'll continue. Is that better? Okay, so now when you have that sort of outline, when you've got this basic outline here, I'll make this darker for you, then you can start refining it. So you've got your basic shape there. Now you want to start observing even closer and adding more detail to your outline. So the way I'm going to do this, maybe I should just color this one in too. I'll do the vector way of the outlines as well, just for the sake of the video. And then you guys can decide which ones you want me to color in. Okay, so let me use the So I'm going to look at my reference now and define the details. But because this is so zoomed in, you guys are going to have to look at your own reference closely to see what details I'm looking at. You know what I'm going to do? Okay, I'll print out another one later. I'm going to cut this in strips so that I can show you clearly. Let's cut it like this. So 2 inches. Print out another one when we do the other outlines. Okay, now we can refine the details. Okay. How cool is this? Actually, if you use this, you can see, how good is that? So this is my freehand outline, and look how nicely I've placed them. So I'm very happy with my placement. Cool. So we don't need to see too much more from here. If anything, if we're going to refine this ear a bit more, we can see there's a sort of dip here in this shadow. So it's got highlighted little hairs there. And it's got a slight little curve here. Okay, now let's work on this section. So this eye, I'm quite happy with the placement of the eye. Let's put it on top. Can you see that alright? guess I can make that smaller now. Okay. Okay, this is all stuff we'll do with the colored pencils. We just want to make sure that we're getting the shapes right. This part of the ear has a sort of dark, it's a little bit more rounded. Okay, next strip. So now we want to work on the chin area. So how's that? Quite happy with how that turned out. And you know, it gets easier doing freehand outlines. It gets so much easier the more you trace. It's very true. The more you trace, the more you just get the natural feel for things, and then eventually you get to a point where you can just continue to do it. Now, one thing I'm not too excited about freehanding like this is a portrait. So is a human portrait. That's a bit more daunting in terms of getting completely accurate, because with this fox I can get some features slightly wrong and it's not going to matter, it's still going to look like a beautiful fox. But it's with the portraits, it's you can do it, but it's going to take you a bit longer, a fair bit longer. Okay, I'm actually quite happy with that as my outline, and I feel that's enough for me to go on and just color it in. In detail. Does anyone have any questions? So I'm gonna leave that there for the moment and go get another print out so that we can do the vector lines. So that I can show you the other method. And so we've got freehand and then vector lines. And then I think those are two good ones. And then obviously the transferring method is the easiest one. You take your print, you apply some pigment at the back. I like to use a pan pastel, and then you use an etching tool to press like this. This is an etching needle, and then you use that to scratch the pigment on the back of the paper onto the surface of your drawing paper. Alrighty, I'm gonna go and get another print, so I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. Okay, so I have a real pretty print over here on proper matte photo paper, and then I just have this on regular printing paper, a quick one, and I don't know what happened there. I'm either running out of ink or it's sort of just went a bit too fast in that section, because this was a much faster print. Anyway, so this is the one we're going to use for our vector line outline. So this is our freehand outline, completely freehand. No rulers or anything. And this one is the method I like to use more than that freehand method, and that is the vector lines. So I'm just going to cut my border again. Beautiful. I used the darker pencil this time, the Tuscan red instead of the terracotta. So we know we've got this line over here that we want, so that's our first triangular line. Let me just draw a line on there. And then we have this part of this triangle that we want. So it will go from the top of the ear to the top of the snout. And then this triangle. Which will go, let's say, to the beginning of that white part of the fur, to the top here. So that triangle is a super important triangle. Then we want to get the bottom of this, the jaw. Get as much of it as we can. Oh, why is that line so far away there? Moved. Okay. Those lines should actually be enough for us. So let's put them in here. Okay, so from these lines we can observe what we put over here, and we can start adding in these details. So I want to put this ear in here. I can see that it's going to start about here. The eye is going to be about here. There's a dip just under this triangle here. Or that line, should I say. The snout's gonna go up to, so if I keep this right here, I can see where the snout's going to end. It'll end there.
Gotta help me disappear from all those voices that I fear, and all the moments I can handle 'cause I'm different. You have to promise to stay near.
Yeah, so what the materials you use to do your outlines, charcoal, charcoal's good, chalk pastels or pastel pencils, or erasable pencils like this one.
You're my ears when I can't hear. You know what's right from wrong, what to say and what to wear. You know there's more than I can bear. You're always telling me the truth. That's why I lean on you. Just like you know that I always do. Oh, listen now, I'll never make it. So help me through.
So just above this ear, just put a line right there.
Not more than I can chew. That's when I lean on you. You bring me home when I'm distracted. You put me where I need to be. An opportunity on which I never would have acted. I need your eyes when I can't see. Oh, you're always telling me the truth. That's why I lean on you. Just like you know that I always do. Oh, listen now, I'll never make it. So help me pull through. Whenever I've bitten off more than I
So I'm just sort of following the lines that I put down, seeing where certain values are, roughly sketching them in.
Talk to me, I kinda wanna understand what you mean when you say her and me. We never ever should have played it this real. Got me down under your thumb. Just let me out, just let me have fun. Memory, talk to me. I kinda wanna understand what I feel. I love her, I want her, I need her, but you're so serious. She's trouble, I trust you, I hate you, 'cause you're probably right.
There you go, that's it. That's using 1, 2, 3, 4 lines. 4 lines, it was really easy for us to do that. The other one we used our hand. So that is as simple as it is to get your freehand outlines. Freehand or vector line outlines. Now you can use your eraser and erase these lines. Brush. And that's it. It's that simple. So this is the freehand one. And this is the vector line one. So I can already see the vector line one is a bit better because I seem to have created a bit more of a curve on the freehand one when it's actually a bit longer and a bit straighter. The chin as well, also a little bit longer, a little bit more narrow. So those lines do help you see a few extra things that you may not see just with your naked eye alone. So in terms of like measuring with your eye, it's very hard. You need another tool to help you measure your lines the way you want your lines to be. So yeah, so that's the complete freehand. And if I colored this one in, it would still look just as beautiful. It's just not going to be as exact. So it depends on you what you want. If you want it to be really accurate or very close, or if your aim is to get as accurate as you can, then you'd probably use the vector line outline. But if you're not fussed about it and you're quite happy to just create a whole new fox but just use the same textures, then you can leave your freehand like this. I almost feel like this one looks cuter. It looks more cute because of the roundness in the shape, and this one looks way more I don't know, way more refined. But it's almost like you can see the difference between a realistic outline compared to almost like a, I don't know, an illustrated version of an outline, if that makes sense. So, yeah, so that's it for the outlines. That went pretty quick. That went really quick. So what I'm going to do, because I'm not, the coloring in process, I'm not going to put as a public video. That's only for you guys. So I'm going to start a new video now then to start with the underpainting of this. and because I still have an hour and a half left that I can stream before I have somewhere else I need to be. So yes. So what's coming up next is we are going to use a blurry reference for our underpainting. So this is the blurry reference. And if you look at this already, it's way less intimidating compared to this. So we're going to use the blurry version as our underpainting. This helps us avoid looking for details or avoid trying to apply details way too soon. So when we just have this blurry version, we can just get our values right, blend it with our solvent, and get it really nice and smooth. And all these textures that you see and details that you see will only come later on. So that's once we got our underpainting done. And our underpainting is actually more important than the details, because if you imagine getting this underpainting right, how easy is it going to be to add those details? It's going to be super, super simple. So the next video that's coming up is this one. So I'll create a new live link and share it with you guys on the portal and on the Facebook, the student Facebook page. And then this one, I will make this video available live now to the public. And thank you guys for allowing me to put it out there for everyone else to see. And now I have a video that I can at least refer everyone to on how the outlines are done. Yeah, how the outlines are done with the freehand and vector methods. Righty. Diane, yes, I'll put the blurry version up on the student portal. I didn't do that, did I? So I'll put that up there. Let me just check if you guys have any other questions before I leave. This one. Diane's asking, as someone new to vector lines, should I add more? Yeah, add as many as you like. You could go all out and have lines all over the place. You could, I think I did the same thing with the jellyfish. I created the vector lines, and I created a lot of lines for that one to get those things in. So if you watch part 1 of the jellyfish tutorial in the portal, you will be able to see how I used a lot more lines. But yes, use as many lines as you can. It's another way of creating a grid, let's say, and then you work in between those grid lines that you've created, or vector lines. Hey, Alex says that she tried using the method with the pan pastels for the outlines, but it was very hard to erase. And you deliberately went heavy because you thought it would be easy to erase. Yes, it's easy to erase, but really, you can't erase it? You must have pressed really, really hard to not be able to erase it. Yeah. What you do is when you transfer your outline in that way, so let's say for instance, we'll use this fox here, and I will apply a bit of a pan pastel. So apply pan pastel at the back just on a section. Which section? Let's say so you're applying the pan pastel to the back, and your intention is to transfer that onto your drawing paper. So let's just use the back of this as an example. So now I'm going to use an etching needle or just something with a nice hard sharp point. And I want to transfer that over. So what you do is you scratch it lightly and have a look. Oh no, where did I put the pan pastel? This side, the ear. So scratch it lightly and have a look at your outline. If you can just see your outline, which I can, and you can probably barely see it there, but that's enough for you. I can see it clearer than what you guys can see it, but there's an outline there. So if I press pretty hard, let's press firmer, that outline is going to be clearer. So let's press really, really hard. So you see that there. So I did press very hard. I mean, I'm almost going through my paper. And to erase that should be pretty easy. So I'm not sure. See, if I did that with graphite, I wouldn't be able to erase it that easy. But with the pan pastel, it should be very easy to erase. And I can still see my scratch lines in there because I scratched so hard. I can see that there's scratches in my drawing paper. But it still erases. So I'm not sure what you did there, Alex. What paper did you use that you couldn't erase it? But anyways, that goes through the transfer method. So that's the one I've been using a lot. Probably the one that I always use for quick streams like the Color Pencil Magazine Challenge and things like that. I will use the transfer method because it saves a lot of time in getting an outline done real quick. But just so that you guys can see the other ways of getting outlines, this video is available. So we've got the freehand, vector lines, and the transfer method demonstrated in today's video. Does that I hope that clarifies a few things for you. That's a good point. So Luke said to Diane, yes, more lines is easier as long as you also do them on your reference. Yes. So if you keep your lines on your reference like this, you're going to refer to your reference all the time. So let's say you start adding colored pencils and you've got the lines over the ear here. You're going to start observing just what's in that line or in that shape that you created with the vector line. Like this one, if you're working with big shapes like this, you're just focusing on that section and you can see where to place your color and your values by looking at the one with the lines that you created. So if you're going to use vector lines, make sure that they're over your reference, and then if you keep referring to your reference, you can work within those shapes that you created. So yeah, Alex used watercolor paper. Yeah, so this is watercolor paper. I'm not sure why you couldn't erase it. Maybe give it another go, Alex, and maybe just try not to press too hard. See how you go. Oh, another good point. So Diane is saying last night when I tried the shoes, and I see I had too much pan pastel on the back of the sheet. Yeah, you don't need a lot. Like that's not a lot of pan pastel, but that's enough for me to get a proper transferred outline. You don't have to cake it on there. You're going to end up with a lot of dirty marks that you're going to have to erase after. You don't have to put too much pan pastel on there. Not at all. Okie dokie. Alright guys, thank you for tuning in on today's video. For those of you that were on the chat, you guys are part of the student portal, so that's why you guys were able to see this live, and I appreciate you allowing me to put this out in public. So if you're watching this just straight from my YouTube channel and you're not a student, welcome, and I hope that this video is going to be useful to you. This is the video that I'll refer everybody to when I get asked the question on how to do the outlines. So thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.